Hello, boys and girls. My name is Yoshi, and you're watching my 100% walkthrough. Or, oh yeah, I forgot. This is not 100%. This is my 200% walkthrough. Okay, I think I finally got it correct. This is our 200% walkthrough of Metroid Prime Remastered. I was about to say Metroid Prime Trilogy, and I stopped myself remembering I'm not playing on the Wii. I'm playing on the Switch 2 in particular. Anyways, we're playing on the normal difficulty, and we're trying to get 100% item completion and 100% scan completion. That's basically what the 200% run entails. In the last run, we followed the guide to get... In the last video, rather, we followed the guide to a T and more or less went through the entirety of Research Core. Got a couple of items, including the Feral Visor and and we were about to get the Cyberball before we had to stop. And also, that's another cool feature. Every time you come back from a save, the game will say the name of the aim of the area you're in again, but it won't actually be in the normal English version. It'll be what the Japanese version is, and that's right, you know, apparently the Japanese call this Ice Canyon instead of Finandra Drifts. Maybe Finandra is really complicated to say over there or something. Either way, it's a cool, nice little trick. Before I went out, I did make sure to shoot some of these other crits first. And it's mainly because I wanted to get enough money to get some other stuff done. Other than that, though, we've basically gotten most of the missable enemies already. The only thing we're missing now mostly is bosses. Anyways, I saved this for later because, yeah, we're gonna go into a boss fight. This one is actually a pretty odd one. Yeah. He looks pretty intimidating, isn't he? So anyways, this is Thardus. Oh my goodness. That's weird. The game still has a heavy Skyrim, even though I was right close to him. Morphology Thardus, an animated sentient creature of stone charged with phazon radiation. Phazon radiation given by Thardus negates auto-targeting systems, preventing lock-on. Possible to acquire alternate targets with a different visor. The chaotic nature of phazon radiation leads to instability and structural integrity. Thardus can encase targets in ice. Colossal size of strength makes it a formidable opponent. Yeah, so we get to face Thardus, or as I like to call him, the Big Rock Boy instead, because that's pretty much what he is. Big Rock Boy. that really is what he is, basically. Pretty fun boss, but all jokes aside, this is actually one of the easiest fights in the whole game, besides a few others. His charge is laughably easy to dodge. You just basically stay on one of the corner of the maps and I'll never hit you, basically. And for the first phase, it's basically just spamming regular charge shots, because again, the other charge shots are way better. If you're too close to them, sometimes aim will tell you a hint to use Boost Ball to get out of the way, but he's already super slow, so we don't need to do that, really. The only time we really need to dash is when he does that Earth side attack. And this, partially, but only a little bit. We could also destroy the rocks if we wanted to, but we probably won't need to. The first half or so is mostly just do other stuff. If you're aggressive also, you can keep shooting him during the side phase as well, but it's really hard and tricky. I think I got a hit though there, and that will count as a full hit if it works properly. I like to save the missiles for the second part because it is really mean and otherwise pretty easy. This attack is laughably easy to dodge as well. All it does is do stuff around him, but we are very far away, so it'll be fine. So my idea was basically get Thardus to pretty low health. And then once we get a low health, we're pretty much just gonna spam super missiles now until he dies. The main reason we wanted to ignore this at first was because we needed a lot of in order to grab this and make this work properly. And by that I mean, even with our good missile count, it can be quite tough to take Thardus out with a full set of super missiles. So you pretty much have to just hire it off constantly. Other than that, yeah, even if the charge does hit you also, you only take like 20 damage, which isn't even that bad. The rest of it is really easy, you just stay on the edge of the map. This freeze attack can be a little annoying. Sometimes I'll randomly try to attack you sooner too. Usually he doesn't do the charge the second time. Again, using the edge of the map to repel that attack. And no, that setup wasn't a bug, by the way. When Thardus' main weakness is revealed at the very end, it actually takes 2 build shots to hit it, not just one. Okay, I didn't get lucky. Sometimes he won't charge until later. He always charges after a certain point, but usually if you're fast enough, he won't charge again. Still, you want him to just do this attack because it lets you wail on him more faster. Just like every other boss, we're going to check after the fight to see if we scammed it or not. We did make sure to, but in case, we could just go right back and replay it. I'm probably not going to show the replay of a fight if it ever comes to it, though. Hopefully, it's not like this game has an autosave or anything, I know, right? So, we'll check our log. This is a main boss, so we'll have to go really far in the back to find him. We do have Thardus, okay, so we haven't missed that unmissable at all. Alright, time to collect our next big upgrade, the Spider Ball. And in a shocking twist to probably nobody's surprise, we're gonna take it right back to the first area again. Yeah, we have to head back all the way to Chozo Ruins again. Yeah, who could have saw that coming? Not me, that's for sure. We can also scan this rail now, and that acts as another research point, so that adds 1 more to our research total. The only thing we should need now are just the super bombs and, I mean, the power bombs. I called them super bombs instead, but they're power bombs. I think I got super missiles and power bombs mixed up initially. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, you can scan the power bomb data, and then, oh my gosh, I'm so terrible at this game. That's a long way to go back. I haven't fallen there in a while. I literally just rushed it for no reason. I should not have. What's funny is I was right on the edge, so I almost did it optimally, and then it didn't work. Yeah, it's dumb. So instead of talking, I should just focus on doing this. I'm just going to wait until this falls off normally this time. That was me being really silly. There we go. That's more like it. I think you're supposed to try using Wave Beam, but just like every other boss, it's faster to just use Super Missiles. As long as they're not the Super Missiles, you could probably defeat almost every boss in this game with it. So there's a different access point we can go to. And there's other access point beyond that access point to get. I, however, do not want to go there because that would be silly. So we need to go back to Chozo Ruins first. In a way to attempt to wind back in the main plaza. This guy is definitely more different than I recommended. Here will be actually a couple of unintended setups, though. The first is less of an unintended setup, though. More like, we're just gonna save our game and make sure we do not have to do this fight again in case we die for some reason. Obviously, we start from a last save point if we were to die, but I doubt that's gonna happen. There is one main area I'm worried about, which we are really coming up to pretty soon. Anyways, we're forced to here. Which gets me more of these stupid mine jerks. You know what to do here. We're just gonna use super missiles. We took out 2 of them with 1 super missile. That helps save our missiles. Since we aren't going to be fighting any bosses for a while, we may as well get that done now. Okay. If we scan that side area, that one tells us free conduits are not receiving power. Guess what? We don't need the thermal visor. We can just spam the crap out of the beam on various areas. You can even see the conduits if you go close enough. If you do that, yeah, no need to use the thermal visor. You could just go and hit that. All that will change is you won't be able to lock on to the thing you normally want to do. I know this looks really weird, but it is faster. Might be easier to switch to the thermal visor, but it feels faster for me to just use the combat visor for everything. Of course, we have more of these stupid Triquops to deal with. The first thing we're going to do is get rid of both of them before we ever have to deal with this mechanic, because now we're going to have to do a timed puzzle. Very important that we do this with the enemies defeated, otherwise it just takes a long time. The same reason we also got rid of the flying pirates. In the later parts, though, we are not going to spend any time taking them out. The flying pirates are probably my least favorite enemy to spend time taking out. They are surprisingly tanky for what they are, and they often avoid your attacks. Like I said, they're one of the first enemies to do that, and so they could be very annoying to do properly. That's what makes them so aggravating to deal with. Besides Frigura, the boss battle, they're probably my least favorite normal enemy to deal with in this game, and I'm sure a lot of people will also agree with me. Anyways, conveniently, we got another energy tank, so if we were getting low from the previous battle, we could have just healed there anyway. So yeah, anyways, that's the only thing that the game doesn't mention, is we do get an extra energy tank early. One of these doors leads to a dead end. I forgot which. I'm just gonna go this way. This is not the dead end. In fact, this leads to yet another new creature, the Puddle Spore. It's strange that no guide suggests that you can just get this right away. Instead, it leaves the Puddle Spore unlocked until much later on. So basically, a guide assumes you go all the way back through the Lan Chozo Ruins section again and go back the longer way through even the pirate area again to make to get back. But you could just go through this area and it's significantly faster. Whatever, I'm just gonna let these crap, man. They seem too hard to deal with anyway. Also, I don't care about this puzzle sword enough. I'm just gonna skip them. Just like any other area, once we have the gravity suit, we can just lava time to get around. That's the main reason to even have a good amount of health. And now, time to do something really tricky. Oh, that's gotta hurt. But wait, there's one more time we're going to have to do that. We'll just go ahead and do this. It's not like we're being any different by going the other way. For some reason, that takes them out right away. Okay, this area, I'm not sure if you could do a trick skip or not. I want to do this anyways, because this permanently removes the Magmar. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this the easy way, I don't care. Just like all the other areas, if you're smart and efficient with what you do, you can do a lava dive. Also, wait, we never actually went... I just realized we never actually went this way, because we never had to. Yeah, this is my first time being here for some reason. Alright, this one we are gonna do a big skip. And a very big skip indeed. You're normally supposed to go over this whole cave, but because we have the gravity suit, we can just easily waltz into it, no problem. We take a good amount of damage, but it's worth it, especially if we're saving later. Because then we'll just get all of our health back. Because of how little these damage you, even in the normal difficulty. It takes a while. And it's even easier to do in casual mode, because obviously casual mode, I assume, would mostly just reduce the damage enemies deal to you, as well as probably reduce the amount of health they have. So, I don't know. Casual is great for speedrunners, obviously, though, because it means they can beat the game faster and easier. Normal mode is more like what the game was like in the original GameCube version. That's why I play on that difficulty, because it's the version I actually beat. Alright. So, yeah. Other than that, surprise, surprise, we're back in this area again. Like I said, definitely didn't see that coming. Get used to seeing this a lot. I have no reason not to do some cool stuff. Well, let's blow up to those guys, just for fun, because we're about to save anyway. Get used to seeing the save habits happen a lot. Keep in mind, if I do mess this up at any point, I'll have to redo the whole run anyway. Though, I'm not sure if I want to do that all the time, so I think the most efficient but easier way would be create a second save file, or redo the whole by deleting the data that I have for this game, and then just opt to do something else. Anyways, I know we didn't need to save the line site, but I wanted to do it anyways because we had a lower missile count than normal, and we're about to use the super missiles yet again. It was either that or make them last really long. I don't know. I don't prefer wasting too many of them. I'm one of those people that likes to keep my missile count high and use Yodi missile when I absolutely need to. So, I generally will avoid doing that kind of stuff if we can help it. Other than that, yeah, I'm just kind of going for each upgrade one at a time. The main reason we're coming back here now, because we have so much to do here. The gravity suit unlocks so many things in here. The only things we cannot do are the lava stuff. And I guess some ice beam stuff. And we have to come here anyway, though, because we need to get and, like, yeah, on top of that, we also have to get an upgrade here anyways. We'll go ahead and get, them in the order, though, just so I don't lose my sanity over how I do this correctly. This is a skip, by the way. People have actually been doing this for quite a while now. Cannot seem to get. Okay, there we go. Third tries of charm, seems. Yeah, you're supposed to boost ball up to that. It's much faster, honestly, to just jump up to it, though. And easier, too, at that. So that's one of the tricks you can do. Our next fic will be to go to the ruined fountain, which eventually leads to Dynamo and gets other tricks. And then there's other weird stuff that happens with our secrets and our shenanigans. Oh, wait. I just realized, wait. I don't have the gravity suit yet. I was thinking about my other save file. Okay, forget what I said. We don't have the gravity suit yet. I was thinking I was playing my other practice file. I already acquired the gravity suit in that. So I guess I am joking. There is actually not as much I could do as I thought. That's fine. Anyways, we need to get to Rude Fountain as soon as possible, though. Rude Fountain's over here, so we're going to take this way. But on the way, we're going to grab that. There is actually another trick we can grab now. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab that now. Also, now we're really late in the game. We start to see these guys as normal enemies. Told you they would appear again. So if you miss this enemy, you can just grab it here. In fact, you can even scan it while it's dead. It takes a long time to die. I think normally you're supposed to use the X-ray to be able to see this, but if you know where to shoot, you can just shoot it out at any time, so we can get this upgrade nice and early. I, however, do not like these bees, so we are going to destroy this hive and this hive, and just spam shoot until they're gone. I know we could charge shoot them, but I think it's more efficient to take them out this way. And then from here, all we really need is space jump, and then we can just go here. I think the game expects you to have X-ray to see that that's a secret normally, but played the game more than enough times to know we just need to super missile that specific area. So we technically sequence braked in a way by getting that a little bit earlier than intended, but it's not that big of a deal. I did say I would be trying to get the missile upgrades as soon as I think I can possibly get them. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm getting them all right away. I'm just getting the ones I know I can get without big glitches. Speaking of which, this game's remastered version probably doesn't have many bugs anyways, as this is based off of the Wii slash European GameCube version of the game, which originally fixed a lot of bugs, including scan dashing. Very little actually survived. So most of the fun in that run now doesn't really start. There is a little skip we could do here. We could just kind of drop down instead of taking the full one way out. Now we can skip again by just dropping out earlier than intended. And then again, we're not going into here because although we have the various suit, we need a really late upgrade to go in there. And now I know from my... Okay, I guess I wasn't too far off. If we go to the right side that I was trying to show you, that leads to Tower of Light, which eventually will lead to a big super upgrade. So, if you thought the Super Vessel was interesting enough, well, there's actually a different series of upgrades you collect. And that one I was talking about leads to the Wave Buster, which is basically like the at the crap out of someone beam. It pretty much just locks onto an enemy and, well, does exactly what I said. It's really wicked, but it takes a lot of missiles to use. We can technically get that right now, but we don't want to actually do that because we want to wait until after we get the gravity suit to do it. I, however, am going to do this differently. As silly as it is, I don't have any reason to save here, so we're just going to keep going. I'm not afraid to take some damage. By the way, forgive me, I did, like I said, come from a second practice file, which I'm now using on the Switch, too. I've only beat this game 2 other times anyway, so... Okay, we can skip this. The reason why we weren't normally supposed to grab these is mostly just efficiency. You could grab both of these at once, and it's not like you need that many whistles anyway. So, yeah, it's mostly so you can grab this whistle, which we got in the previous video, and then go all the way up here to grab this missile up top. And you can grab both of those at once if you come back here later. So in the rate efficiency run, you would actually get Charge Beam first and then come back here really late. But safer strategy is to just get Charge Beam a little bit later, and then you can just grab that while you're here. And high safety net, because especially early on, you have not many missiles. I am, however, going to just dash through it. Boost Ball is really useful for getting through sections like that. Also, there's no reason we can't... Even though we don't have gravity suit, there's no reason we can't just walk through this water now. Fagero's been dead for a pretty long time after all. As you might have guessed, the poison only stays around as long as Fagero's alive, but we killed him quite a bit ago. So, alright, so now we're back on track here. Now we just need to get the save one up in the Gathering Hall. I'm actually going to delay my save even further. This time until picking up the next upgrade, just so I don't have to do stuff later. And here we have a little bit of a trick skip we can do. It's one of the few steps I know about. You can just jump onto that geometry, and this as well, too. I think this is actually partially intended. And then, also, we just can bomb this open. And then, yeah, we can just jump up there and skip the Morph Ball Tunnel entirely. We couldn't skip it before because we didn't have the Space Jump Boots, but now we can skip it, and it saves a lot of time. Like I said, Space Jump Boots, probably best speedrunner item in the whole game. They enable you to do so many skips. I am not going to bother going for that tunnel. It's really slow, so I'm just going to boost to run through it fast. We have so much energy anyways, we may as well use it to our advantage. No reason not to take damage. It's not like I'm doing a no damage clear or anything. If I was doing a no damage clear, I'd have to go on the bottom. But I don't care. Anyways, Spider Ball is very important because now it lets us go up here, which we previously couldn't go to before. And then we get to a slightly tricky section, which I messed up. And also, I don't know why, but sometimes the game doesn't let you jump. I just usually mash the button and hope that it bombs in time. Sometimes if you bomb just barely late, it won't work though. I'm just gonna missile these guys down. We have so many missiles anyway. If we try to missile these guys though, they're vulnerable to it. In fact, it tells us it suggests a weakness to Morph Ball rated systems instead. Anyways, that was our first scan energy. I'll scan and I said energy for a second. Oh my gosh, I'm such a dingus. I meant scan entry. Anyways, we got a Trozo lure added in, which is convenient because this is the way we need to go anyway. Alright. We did make sure to get the ice enemies earlier, but other than that, we are going to have yet another secret coming up. Not right here, but a little later. Oh, wait, this is a... Wait, furnace? Oh, wait, no, wait, never mind. What am I thinking? That was the one we already got. See, I thought there was, like, one in the tunnel room for a second, and then I remember it was actually the same one we already got. I am going to do the puzzle first, however, before I forget. If I remember correctly, we have to remove this quarterite again. And do the something behind the wall seems to have activated trick to then get up here. Which is how we get another missile expansion in this area. I figured I'd go for it first, just because why not? As you might have guessed and or probably not be surprised by, this area has a lot of collectibles to get. Probably most of the... Well, more than at least 50% of the missiles are just here. The other areas in comparison don't have nearly as much. In fact, if you take that and combine this with Venandra Drifts as well, it probably makes up at least good 50+% more even of the missiles. Okay, so now we just go there, we grab that. And now we just have to quickly go down here. Now we get to scan 3 lures at the same time. 3 different lures all at once. We just get all of a sudden. That is a lot of Chozo lure right there. Must have been really good to take in all that lure, huh? Okay. We're actually gonna get this next upgrade thing not for a while because we don't really need to do anything here. So first we'll go in here. We'll just walk right in. This cutscene takes quite a while. But now we get to fight a completely different enemy type, which will soon become the new most annoying enemy for most people, and that's the Chozo Ghost. They are really tanky, really annoying, and their attacks usually stun you for a good few seconds. I think the even calls them erratic from time to time. And they can turn invisible, and they are a bit of RNG fest. That's the biggest thing. They are RNG mobs. They will basically teleport to wherever they want, and if you get unlucky, they will just teleport literally out of nowhere to a place you don't want them to go. Not fun. Okay, now we just go on here to get the first secret. Holding down the button for Sable, so we actually activate it. I definitely forgot that a couple of times, my previous runs. The Chozo Ghost is very frequent in this area, so it's not going to be that hard to find. So that's activated a series of doors we can now use. I'm still going to save the missile expansion thing because it's actually more convenient for me, I think, to get this later. There is a missile refill station, but you will get forced to come back here immediately anyways for an upgrade, so I'm saving that for the next upgrade, and it's after getting the next upgrade I will then save. But first, we gotta do the wave beam path. As you might have guessed, there's multiple paths for each of the other beams besides power beam. And you need to take each path once because each one does something else. The last one also holds an artifact. And for a hundo, we also need to get the ice path. You can skip that entirely, though, if you're on that. You can even save that for later if you're doing hundo for once you have the plasma beam. But it's easier to do this way. And now the next thing I'm going to do, just before I forget, is to turn off the safety shield. This just means we can go back here whenever we want. There's also a Chozo War to get, but we can also get that later if we choose to. Yeah, we're too late in now. So that's fine. We'll just go back to the energy tank in the Hall of Elders first and skip to right here. So here we go. We're going to scan this. If you missed one of the stone turds earlier, you can easily get it here. And then if you scan this, it'll tell you can do something secretive. In reality, it's mostly you just want to use your bombs here. Other than that, my best strategy to get up here is to basically just keep doing this until one of the stone toads will eventually grab us. And then you can up to get through that. Before there's a strain of blast door, and the leftmost one we have to take conveniently takes us right next to the ice beam. This is the big upgrade I was talking about. And there we go. New extra is unlocked. That was just me checking to make sure I Didn't forget the blast shield door. I'm gonna open that, however, so we don't have to do that later. And then we're going to go backwards and go into this area, because now we can get another secret by going back here. But by going back in here, we are unable to use the statue, because these Chisel Ghosts decide they're going to interrupt us again. Unfortunately, this is not the last time we're going to be returning to this room either, and there are 3 of them this time. This is the harder part. The main reason I didn't do the trick from earlier is mostly just so I could use whatever extra missiles I had left. As you might have guessed, not only are they random, but they are very tanky. They take 2 supers each to take out. And they're super fast too, so they only stay vulnerable for a certain amount of time, and each one of their attacks will stun you for a good amount of time. It's constantly on the move. Best strategy, honestly, is just keep spamming supers. There's no reason not to. I think only 2 hits of those to die, but still, anything that takes more than 2 hits of that is really hard. And there we go. Now we can go through this wall to get to our missile station. It just was most convenient to do it afterwards, because you use so much missiles fighting those guys. And so, yeah, now we can step into this to fully refill our missiles without having to go back to the ship. That's what makes this so convenient. There we go. Now we got that done. Now we just need to go back to this room again to actually get the collectible we want, which is also another energy tank. Before I forget again, I want to make sure we get the lure this time around. I think that's actually behind the statue, so we're going to basically go a bit more than we normally do. And yeah, there it is, right there. Didn't forget it this time. Thankfully, with a guide, it's so easy to figure out what you've forgotten and what you've gotten by just remembering how you have gone over to get it. Do not roll out of this pipe, by the way. I've accidentally done that before, and it could be... It's a really big time loss, because then you have to do the ice thing again. But we did it successfully. And see, like, the path flips open, so we'd have to re-flip it again to get back to where we need normally. Other than that, though, that's all the secrets we can get over here, and we also got ourselves a shiny new ice beam. This is what lets us get the gravity suit now, so now we can actually go and get the gravity suit. So, yeah, I think I was talking about it a little bit too much, but yeah, now we can finally get that. We, however, are not going to go to this secret, because that secret over there isn't really much of a secret. If anything, it's an area we can't even explore. So we're just going to go here instead. Which will finally net us a save point. Been waiting for quite a while for this one. Okay, the next Mixel expansion isn't until much later. Pretty much in a whole different area called Gum Cavern. Conveniently enough, though, we are going right there immediately. And now, surprise, surprise, we just headed back to the other area. Now we're going to head all the way back to Finadra Drifts again. I wasn't kidding when I said those 2 areas alone have, like, more collectibles than anything else in the game. I did say we were going to return to those areas a lot. I think those 2 areas combined have at least probably 50% of the collectibles in this game. It's that insane, as far as I'm aware. Okay, this enemy still requires missiles to take out. I have plenty, so I'll just be able to use them if I want. I'm not going to do it all the time now. There's a Venom Wood. Oh, okay, we already gotten that one. Okay, another missile expansion. Now we need to go all the way back to Venandra Solar Lines, which we could go our secretive way, but that actually doesn't get us anything. So instead, we're going to do this massive drop-off that leads really down into nowhere, and then we're just going to kind of take a bit of damage here. Fortunately, I don't know a great way for this, and there's no reason to even fight half of these pirates anyway. You can ambush a couple of them if you're fast enough, but other than that, it's mostly just open the doors as fast as you can and get the heck out. We can't do any of that area until we have the gravity suit after all. So, we're just gonna sip that and head back here. And by the way, just so you know, guys, I will need to mention this because it is gonna come up multiple times throughout this playthrough, but no, I am not going to be doing any skips of the backtrack. And this is mostly just to show you what I believe to be the optimal route to get back to each area. Okay, pro tip though, we do not need to go through Chozo Ruins. We just need to go back through the Root Cave. My guide does mention where to go, thankfully. And it too also mentions you want to go to the Root Cave first, which is usually the faster way of getting to this. There we go. Did we actually scan this? Yeah, we did. Now we have the ice beam. We could just destroy it this way instead of having hit its poison right back at it instead. Okay. There we go, we got that done. I could technically have saved and stopped right now, but again, I preferred to save it till later. Alright, so back to Monster Station we go now in Megmore Caverns. This one we are going to... Oh, I just realized something. That slow jump setup should not have worked, but it worked barely. I really was under the feeling that I had the gravity suit, but I guess you can barely jump out. That makes sense. The game wouldn't want you to not be able to jump out, otherwise you'd be soft-locked and inevitably just die instead. Either way, since I do not have the gravity suit, I will be taking a mostly safe path. I say, as I'm gonna end up going into this part of the lava anyway. I think it's more the space jump I'm worried about having here, but yeah, other than that, the usual, just going in the lava like no one's business. Skipping the Bindasium great area, because we don't have the ability to do that, and now we can just kind of mostly ignore the enemies. Sometimes they can randomly hit you, but if you keep moving fast, you can usually get through mostly fine. It's mostly when you start stopping it gets so really hard. We could do a skip here to get to the right. This is where I mentioned, like, you might have noticed there's none of those stupid turrets here anymore. They actually get replaced by more aggravating flying pirates instead, but they're actually easier to deal with because unless they are really bad and just like follow you around, you generally won't get hit much at all. I found it. And just doing that gets me there pretty easily. I'm still going to be a little far ahead of the guide, because again, the guide does not expect me to have this many missiles, and yet we've gotten a couple a little bit earlier than intended. Alright. So now we're going to go back up top here. We switched to our power beam because we need the super missiles again for this next part. What a shocker. We get to do basically the same thing we did in Chozo Ruins no more than quite a few minutes ago. Now we need to go in using the morph ball again. We have to jump our way up. Let's bomb jump our way up here before grabbing this missile expansion. And we're done. Alright. Now we get to go over to the save point. And now that we've gotten that is when I'm going to save. Thankfully, there are plenty of save points in Metroid Prime, so it's not like we're going to be locked out or anything, but there is one major area later that takes so long to get to a save point. So we may have to set up our video timing differently, depending on when that happens, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this all in a way. But I guess, well, yeah, we're in the end of the episode, so we may as well check our scan book stuff now. Our item percent jumped up quite nicely this time. And our scan percent is nearly at 75%. That jumped up a lot. Most of what we collected was maybe some extra pirate data, some other stuff. Mostly Chozo lore, though. In fact, we have all but one Chozo lore now. And it's not until, I think, the very end of the game. One of which I think might be found here, actually. So we might almost be done with that. And then creatures, we'll just more slowly scroll through those. I don't slowly scroll through the pirate data and other stuff because it's pretty easy. Out what we have. This I will slowly scan. And this is mostly just that anybody who's following along my guide can check exactly what they have. And then refer to my videos as to where to find these. We did get the Chozo Ghost, though, and as you can see, we have the full ice family. Most of that is missable. That's why I'm a little nervous. They're like the last normal enemies that you can miss by going into a major area that's different. And then mainly we got Thardus, of course, at the beginning of this episode. And then research jumped up quite a bit. Yeah, I was right. We're only missing 2 spots now. One of them is our grapple spot, which we can't actually scan until we have the grapple beam. And then artifacts, I'm just going to skip by that. We still have only 1 artifact exactly. As far as I'm aware, though, we didn't miss anything, so that means that's going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, rate, and subscribe for some more content. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.